Hi, it's Kathy Kress again, and we are doing my YouTube channel, Geriatric Care 1, and right now we are doing a whole playlist on should you move your aging parent into your house, which is a big move for both the family and the older person. So I'm just assuming, you've looked at all the variables and you've decided as an adult child that this is going to go forward, and the geriatric care manager who's working with you understands that as well. And there are certain steps that you have to take, and one of them is you got to merge two households of furniture. that's a lot to take on, and you have to really look at what the parent should sort of sort out. And in the Handbook of Geriatric Care Management, there's a whole chapter on relocation, and it's a great chapter, and it really just talks about, moving. And one of the important things that it defines is, what the value of your home is to you. Yourself now, and to your parent. Because it is your sense of history. It's your sense of your family. It's your sense of, how you get around. When you go to a hotel, that's fun. You don't exactly know where your toothbrush is. But people navigate around their home. They know exactly how to get from where to where. So when you're dealing with treasures or family, memories, how many of those do you get rid of? And so when an older person moves in, you really need to start, first of all, just in logistics, assess the space that they're going to have in the room. And this goes from moving them to a higher level of care to assisted living, whatever. How much space are they going to have available in your home? Are they going to have a whole wing? Or are they going to have one room? I hope they're not sharing with a teenage child. So, whatever the space is, what will fit in, and you really need to assess it, and geriatric care manager can help you with that. And then pick some of the things that are memories to the older person that they can't live without. Like my mother-in-law, when, and I've mentioned this before, I did it. So I've already been through this, my mother-in-law and my dad. And she had a little pink lazy boy that was she was this tiny person that she had to have there. And so the lazy boy came, the pink lazy boy. That was her memories. She loved pink. All of that. She brought little statues that, she had had on various bureaus. Things that had deep memories to her, pictures of her family. My dad, he didn't really bring anything, but he had, I actually got a whole map of Atlantic City, and we put it on the wall where he used to live. But at any rate, you've got to choose what you're going to move and what fits into the space. And then you have to figure out what to do with the rest of it. And where you start there is with the actual family itself, which means not just you, the adult child who the parent's moving in with, but all of your sisters and brothers. And so you need to have a family meeting about non-titled property. And you could skip this and maybe have everybody mad at you for a while, or some people. But you could, the important thing is to do things fairly, so that when your parent dies, your sibling system still goes on and you are still friends as a family. That's critical. So you decide what your parent really needs, along with a geriatric care manager, and then you basically have a family meeting. The geriatric care manager can facilitate the meeting because you need an objective party here. And you want all of the siblings to write a list of, knowing what the parent's already going to move into your house, what they would like and why, and send it to the geriatric care manager ahead of time, so that you can see who, does that two people want the silver? 2 people want that salt and pepper shaker collection. I keep using that, but people are really attached to things like that. That's called non-titled property. the next thing to do is to see if your parent could tell stories about all these items at the meeting. Because each family item comes with a story. I have a rocker in my house that came from my husband's great-grandfather and a chair that came from the grandmother. There's a whole story attached to them. I have another rocker from my first husband's great-grandmother that, you know, my daughter, I've been married twice, that has a great story along with it. So to tell the stories so that, and record it, because we're recording things now, record all this. We're just talking about family history. Record the stories as he or she is telling it. And so that everyone knows what they get, the story behind it, because they're going to pass on history in the family. And then you need to decide what goes to whom. And that's where you need a geriatric care manager to mediate the discussion. And there's this great website called Grandma's Yellow Pie Plate, and you can Google that. It's in the chapter on relocation here, but you can just Google it. It's the University of Minnesota, and it gives you the way to set this meeting up. And how to facilitate it, which would be an outside source, not somebody in the family, because no matter what, you're not objective. And mediate who gets what. Sometimes people, like, I get the silver for a year, you get it for the next year. Lots of things can happen. This is a teapot. The 40-year-old does not really need it, but maybe the 20-year-old really does need it because they're starting a house. To be able to have a discussion about who needs what and how it gets passed on. And then whatever is left, you need to make arrangements to auction things that are valuable. You need to make arrangements to have estate sales for what is valuable. And if you have really, really valuable art, I never say the Sotheby's or whatever the name of it is, an estate sale that, will sell things that way. And in the end, goodwill. And in the family meeting, you can figure out who's going to do what about that, because, you shouldn't have the adult child who's moving the parent in do everything. But it starts this whole dialogue of families working together, because the family is going to have to work together with the older parent moving in too. Like they could drive, some of the siblings could drive them to those activities I talked about last. So we will see you next time. Go to my website, kathygress.com, and we will do another episode.